you like Jaws, if you do, 4 movies wasn't enough for you. There's a whole bunch of other ones. So, let's talk about them. The bastard pups of Jaws. The Last Shark.
Oh, little Caroline, I'm feeling so lonely. I see you as the sun is going down.
Port Harbor is a quiet summer resort with its pleasure boat enthusiasts, skin divers, and windsurfers. It may be one of the most peaceful places on earth. But in the world of blackness, beneath these waves, there are no days, no nights, no seasons, only endless existence. And a being whose only thought since the beginning of time is his ravenous desire to feed.
Get on shore! Everyone out of the water!
Port Harbor has been invaded by the ultimate predator.
Coming right at us!
A beast against which there is no defense. Nature's perfect killing machine. The Great White Shark. Great White. The terror begins March 5th.
1981 goes under a lot of names. Great White, The Last Jaws, Jaws Returns, La Última Squalo, which is what I call it. This movie made $18 million in its first month of its U.S. release. Universal Pictures have been trying to block FBI, Film Ventures International, from even releasing the movie here, but the request was denied in U.S. District Court. However, 30 days into the film's run, federal judge David V. Kenyon argued and ruled that it was too similar to Jaws, and the film is banned from theaters. And guess what? He was right. Now, that might be an urban legend, right? But this movie really made a lot of money, and after watching windsurfers surf his little heart out in the credits, we get to watch a great white ruin his fun by eating him. That's when we make our way to the resort town of Port Harbor, where Governor William Wells, Joseph Sinclair Ice from 1990, the Bronx Warriors, refuses to believe that a shark is on his beach. That's when horror writer Peter Benton, played by James Franciscus, the voice of Jonathan Livingston Seagull, and shark hunter Ron Hamer, Vic Morrow, realize they got to do something. In my wildest dream, Hamer's son will grow up to be the evil Hammer from 1990, the Bronx Warriors, another Vic Morrow role. And by the way, as a huge fan of Vic Morrow, I just like to say John Landis forever. Anyway, the governor refuses to cancel the windsurfing regatta. You got a regatta because he feels like this will hurt his political ambitions. In the bizarre universe of Italian shark films, the windsurfing lobby is incredibly powerful. That said, Wells did put in shark nets, but all the splash around makes the sharks nuts. So they tear through the nets. Next day, as the windsurfers line up to compete, the shark appears literally to the sound of the guitar from Torso and treats all these teens on their boards as I trade a sushi buffet. And for dessert, may we recommend the Governor's Aid? Benton and Hammer head out to sea with some dynamite because we all know how do you kill a shark? Dynamite. How do you stop? You kill a ninja. The only way to kill a ninja is with another ninja, but how do you kill a shark?
Only a ninja can stop a ninja.
The shark goes off Spielberg's script and traps him in a cave. While they're figuring out why the shark would go into business for himself, Benton's daughter, Jenny, Stefania Goyami Goodwin, who was Anne in 1990, the Bronx Warrior, a radio operator in Moses' group and Warriors of the Wasteland, and go on to be assistant director on Empire Records at Super Mario Brothers, I shit you not. And her friends head out on a yacht with some steaks and a shotgun, which seems like the worst plan ever. The shark also stops the boat by using its own body to jam the motor of the boat, which is ridiculous. Bullshit science.
Bullshit science. Bullshit science. Bullshit science.
Of course, the shark yanks the girl off the boat and eats her leg, which might feel like another movie we'll get to. This is done as tastefully as Italian cinema will allow. In the hospital, she screams at her father to kill the shark. In an attempt to finally get something right and make it up to Benton, his son was the reason why Benton's daughter was out there in the first place, Governor Wells grabs more steak. Was this movie endorsed by Italy's Beef Council, who remind you, Mazzo e quello c'è Paracena, and headed on a helicopter with dynamite to blow up the shark real good. Of course, the shark messes up the best laid plans and drags the governor into the ocean, butting him in half and dragging his helicopter into the waves below. God damn it, this movie. This scene is astoundingly satisfying and completely stupid, which is really the cocktail that I make out of every movie. Benton and Hamer try one more time, give it one more try, like Timmy T, to blow the shark up, because much like pro wrestling, Italian rip-off shark fighting works in threes. This fails. This shark will not get any memos about the way the rules work, and Hamer is killed. At this point, you would think people give up, but no, there's another shark hunter decides to change the game by using spare ribs. The Italian National Pork Board would like to remind you, carne di maiale and altra carne bianca, and chaining them to the dock. But of course, the shark won't listen to reason. Decides to drag every single person to the ocean and make him bail the hunter, the cameraman, a bunch of rubbernecking beachcombers, and the tasty spare ribs. With all these shenanigans, why would a shark want spare ribs? Wait, hold on a second here. I mean, I get it. Why is this someone like, what if we give the shark the meatball?
Sam, this is Rocco Siffredi. I am no ghost. I am here to tell you about the Italian shark. Listen to me. In Italy, even the sharks, they have taste. They don't want boring food, eh? No. They want something with passion, smoke, fat, fire. They smell pork ribs in the water and suddenly, boom, they become poets. You think an Italian shark wants some tiny little fish? Please, that is snack food. But pork ribs, mamma mia, that is romance, that is seduction. The meat falls off the bone like a beautiful love story falling apart at 3 a.m. in Naples. You see 4 times that night? Ah, Bava, you sexy baby. But the shark circles slowly, very slowly. He smells garlic, black pepper, olive oil, maybe a little red wine in the sauce. His eyes roll back. He says, "Tonight I feast like a king." Because Italians understand something the rest of the world forgets. Food is not survival. Food is desire. And ribs are dangerous desire. Sticky fingers, smoky lips, sauce all over your face. Nobody looks elegant eating ribs, and that is exactly why they are beautiful. Look at you, shark. Why you have to be so nasty? You look like little baby, and no, you nasty. So when an Italian shark bites into pork ribs, he is not just eating. He is celebrating life. He is singing opera underwater. He is making love to flavor itself. That is the Italian way.
When all these shenanigans are going on, Hamer's dead body floats on by in Benton, wearing a jaunty red wetsuit that seems like it can only enrage a gray shark further. And yes, sharks can see tones of colors depending on their species. I looked this up, so I really do care about the facts. Remembers that he has a detonator, so he puts bombs on his friend's body and puts it into the shark and blows it up, and the shark's head blows up. He then walks over and punches out a reporter played by Giancarlo Prete, who we all know as Scorpion from Warriors of the Wasteland. It took 4 writers to make this movie. Ramon Bravo, who also wrote Tintuero, we'll get to it. Vincenzo Menino, who wrote Devilfish, Miami Golem, Murder Rock, and The New York Ripper. Mark Prince and Ugo Tucci to completely rip off the first 2 Jaws films. But it only took 1 director to make it, and that's Enzo Castellari. We can't guess by the related credits of the crew. He's the man that brought us the Bronx movies and Warriors of the Wasteland and the original Inglourious Bastards. He's brought me so much joy in my life, and if I had to be, no matter what you call this movie, The Last Shark, anything but boring. You're not going to see anything you haven't seen before. But if you want to see B-roll footage, mono helicopters, and a shark that may be better than Bruce was in the first movie, also a shark smart enough to stop boats and grab ropes in its teeth so it can take out a dock full of people, this is a film for you. My only issue with this film is Castellari and not yet Mark Gregory yet. If Mark Gregory was in this movie, I would have lost my mind.
God, what the hell is that?
Whatever it is, I wouldn't want to rub it the wrong way.
I'm not an expert, but these don't look like the teeth marks of a shark to me.
It's not a shark.
I think I can safely say
that the creature found in your part of the ocean is a living fossil.
The cells of this creature have a life of only 8 months?
Bob! There's something on the screen. See it?
Yes. It might be him, but the picture isn't very clear.
Look! Look! Oh! Oh!
Bob?
Bob's boat was attacked here. The dang thing just sits in that area.
Be careful, Peter. Getting too close. Go faster.
Come on. Let's go.
Devilfish, monster shark, monster from the red ocean, devouring waves, shark, red in the ocean, whatever you call this film by Lombardo Bava, a.k.a. John Holt Jr. It's so ridiculous. Then again, you're not coming to an Italian shark movie to get the high art, are you? Based on a story by Luigi Cosi, under the name Louis Coates, and producer Sergio Martino. Devil Shark was written by Dardano Sarchetti, who wrote pretty much every movie in the 80s, came out of Italy. Along the Florida coast, place where Italian beer cans are still imbibed by our hero Peter. That's Michael Sopaku, however you say it, Sopikiw. But he's a blast fighter, so whatever. There's a monster loose that's a mutant mashup of an octopus and the prehistoric deep-sea Dunkelstetis. Of course, that monster is loose because of a military experiment and has been set loose in a tourist town that's about to burn down. Come Armageddon. But that's how these things go. Peter and Dr. Stella Dickens, and yes, Luigi Cosi names every one of his heroines Stella, have to stop the monster before it grows, while the military wants to stop them and recapture the devilfish. There's also a sheriff on the job, and that's Giancarlo Garco. Cinzia De Ponte, the bicyclist we last saw getting killed by the New York Ripper, also the babysitter Jamie Lee in Manhattan Baby, shows up here, as does the gorgeous Dagmar Lassender from Hatchet from the Honeymoon and The House by the Cemetery. For those who enjoy these things, there's a flash of man meat. There's also plenty of synth, knife fights in the water, goofy monster, flamethrowers versus monster fish, women screaming Peter over and over again, and plenty of bad dubbing. Lombardo Bava takes every nice thing I've ever said about his dad and throws it in my face. But you know what? I've given him so many chances that I've fallen in love with him. There was a time, a beautiful time, let's call it the 1980s, when Italian filmmakers would come the whole way to America to make these movies. Oh yeah, one time in 1977, Luigi Cosi also made his own version of Godzilla by redubbing 80 minutes of the original Godzilla, throwing in some footage from the U.S. 1956 version, and taking like World War II newsreels and movies like The Day the Earth Caught Fire and The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, and then he got artist Armando Valcata 3 months placing color gels all over the film, and it came out as Spectrorama 70, the new soundtrack by Vince Tempera under the pseudonym Magnetic System, which is an awesome name. Mixed in future of sound, which probably didn't even exist. Supposedly an 8-track magnetic sound system based on Sensurround. Imagine seeing Godzilla with loud explosions that would and did rock entire theaters with blasted noise with a soundtrack that sounded like Goblin. Oh my God. Anyways, Devilfish. Wonderful. 1976 though. Let's go to Florida. We're going all over the world. William Griffey, you're going to come to Florida, right? He brought us so many swamp-tinged bits of exploitation goodness. Alligator Alley, The Wild Rebels, The Hook Generation. But one of the first films that cashed in on Steven Spielberg's success. This one has a unique sense on the genre. It's sympathetic towards the sharks as victims.
Now, Enter an underwater world of terror and suspense as you face the jaws of death. Here is the story of a man determined to stop the killing of sharks.
You didn't catch this shark.
Sure I did.
Alone, he dares defend man's most dreaded enemy, destroying all who defied his warnings.
Well, they can't go ahead and just kill all the sharks because they don't understand them. Now, can they? Then put a bounty on them.
In a moment of danger, deadly sharks once saved his life. Now he lives and kills as one of them, blood brother in a mysterious shark cult.
You don't have to be afraid of any shark when you're with me.
And now, without further delay, I'm proud to present the Aquamaids Real Live.
Here is sheer terror, unforgettable action, captured with some of the most daring underwater photography ever brought to the motion picture screen. Stark, chilling realism that plunges you into a twilight world of thrashing danger. Filmed without the benefit of cages, mechanical sharks, or other protective devices. A unique adventure that thrusts you into the jaws of death.
Marine salvager Sonny Stain, Richard Jekyll, who had a one-man war against nature in the 70s. He fought bats and chosen survivors, bears and grizzly, and well, every animal in the world in Day of the Animals is giving a medallion that allows him to talk to sharks. Now, this is one of those movies that you have to buy that conceit. Do you buy that conceit? If so, you can continue watching. He becomes increasingly disconnected from humanity. That's easy to do. Everybody in this movie sucks. And he uses his sharks, and I say sucks in a good way. They're horrible people, and you want to see them get eaten. He uses a shark to take out those who go against his beliefs. One of those people is an incredibly chubby club owner and is using high-frequency sound to train the sharks, as well as pimping out his wife, Karen, played by Jennifer Bishop from Bigfoot, to get Sonny on their side. Have you ever seen a movie where strippers have been trained to swim with sharks? Who other than me would want to see that?
Tonight, you are about to see one of the most electrifying and unusual acts to be found anywhere in the state of Florida. As a matter of fact, anywhere. Tonight, our own Aquamaid will perform for you her ballet, not only underwater, but accompanied by the savage wolf of the sea, a man-eating shark. Karen, the death-defying shark maiden.
This movie provides the what, if not the why. Another shady shark researcher that murders a shark and her pups. You'll sound unbelievably like the scream of Jackal overly mows as he clutches a dead baby shark. And oh yeah, Harold Oddjob Sakata also in this. The stunt footage is amazing and never gets a mention before the movie begins. Other than the weird premise, I have to say this has some of my favorite dialogue ever. I say it all the time to my dog about, they used to call me killer in the streets. That speech. Yeah, Mako. There's a bar in this that is, I want to live in this bar. It is just beautiful.
Talk rubbish, boy. This is not the place nor the time.
Cruel Jaws. Man, let's talk about it. Cruel Jaws has been released as Jaws 5 in many countries. It has nothing to do with the Jaws film, except it rips off footage from the first 3 Jaws movies, Deep Blood and The Last Shark. It goes so far to be Jaws that it rips off Hooper's dialogue about, we know about sharks with some minor differences. All they know how to do is swim and eat baby sharks. And that's all. This comes from Bruno Mattei, who also brought us crowd pleasers. If you consider me and Reggie the dog as a crowd, is Shocking Dark, The Other Hell, and Rats Night of Terror. Dag Sorensen may look like Hulk Hogan, but he's really the owner of the worst SeaWorld ever. His wife died in an accident. His daughter in his wheelchair from that accident. Even worse, he's behind on the rent. Greedy mobbed out real estate to Sam Lewis is ready to shut him down, but Dag thinks he can capture the shark and save his little dolphin and seal mom and pop, well, until mom died. Attraction. It turns out that the shark in this is a tiger shark engineered by the Navy to be a super weapon. Yet now it's killing people over Hampton Island. Do not mess with nature. Dag and his family team up with Bill Morrison, who desperately wants to be Hooper, even with the stolen line about take out the shark with, well, how do you stop a shark? Not with another shark. With explosives. Most of the shark action, including the windsurfing scenes and the shark getting blown up real good, ripped off completely from The Last Shark. Mattei also rips off Deep Blood and footage from the first 3 Jaws films, turning us into an exercise in sampling more than a real film. Yet I love it. Where an American film will hint up the bodies that wash up from an attack, Mattei shows us them in gory detail. I also love that he used the mafia subplot from the original novel that Spielberg took out of his movies. I'm certain he didn't even realize what he was doing, which makes the end results more entertaining. There's a windsurf battle scene here again. It's from The Last Shark, where one character says to another, "You're a piece of shit. You're vomit. You're nothing," while synthesizer bleed out the screams of the crowd.
You're disgusting! You're a piece of shit! You're vomit! You're a nobody! And you're a loser! Come on, Mom, come on!
Doing that dialogue that cuts back to Castellari's film, the fact that 2 main windsurfers aren't even moving their race. I don't know if I've ever been happier with an action scene. As part of, I tried to watch modern films that came out in the wake of Sharknado, and I couldn't finish any of them. They don't want to be like Troma movies, letting on the fact that they're silly. Screw that. I'd rather watch a somewhat inept film like this with an amateur American actress being unleashed upon dialogue stolen from other films, while the Italian auteur, and never has the word been applied to someone who probably deserves it less, barely puts together a coherent film. But let me state my case one more time. You know, they say genius steals. Mattei used the music from Star Wars in this. Is this a hidden comment on how blockbusters destroyed the art and promise of the new Hollywood? Of course not. That said, I was so happy when that John Williams refrain played over dudes chumming the waters that had poured a drink on my own head. Also, John Williams ripped off all the music for those movies. Come on. Shout Factory was going to release Cruel Jaws in a split with Exterminators of the Year 3000 in 2015 before realizing how much it was stolen. Their press release brings me joy. It came to our attention through several of our fans that Cruel Jaws had several scenes that had unauthorized footage to make it impossible for us to release without legal ramifications. We gave serious thought about editing out the material, of course, but it's quite a bit of scenes to remove. We only knew that doing so would not satisfy the film's fans or new ones we wanted to attract. I love this movie. I wrote about it twice. So let me tell you again. Theater of the Sea is one of the oldest marine mammal facilities in the world. It has been operated by the McKinney family since 1946. Thousands, maybe millions, are thrilled to its daily aquatic shows. It somehow became the host for an Italian made-for-TV and then direct-to-video opus known as The Beast, Cruel Jaws, or Jaws 5. Yes, imagine the excitement of a film crew coming to your local otter park, shooting a movie in your neighborhood, and then the man you were told was William Snyder ends up being Bruno Mattei, the man who made The Other Hell, Shocking Dark, and Rats Night of Terror. An excitable Miami Herald article from December 4th, 1994 proclaims the big news that the town of El Portal is now Hampton Bay, which is perhaps Amity Island's sister city. They only knew what mania lay in wait, for Bruno was about to craft not just a shark movie, but a remix of all of his favorites. Yes, much like Girl Talk or other DJs mix multiple songs to create a new patchwork narrative, Mattei was about to say copyright laws, common sense, and let's create our own shark movie. It all starts with the ship evading the Coast Guard to pilfer the remains of a sunken ship called the Cleveland, because Matei had no idea what the Edmund Fitzgerald was. Within seconds, scuba scavengers are beset by pilfered footage from Great White. Yes, a movie that was sued into oblivion for ripping off Jaws has now suffered the same unkind cut. That's when the credits roll and promise original shark design and special effects created by Larry Manini. I'm here to report to you, dear listener, that none of these effects are original. Even more to the point, I refuse to believe that Larry Manini is a real person, much like Louis Coates, David Hills, and Raph Donato. I'm convinced it's another name for Matei. Soon we meet Billy Morrison, who is not like Matt Hooper in any way, as he drives with this girl from Vanessa. She chides him for leaving her last summer to chase killer whales.
When he was young, he was a great sailor. He used to hunt whales in the North Sea. And ever since that damn accident, he hasn't been the same. First your dad throwing us out of the aquarium, and then that shark. Things couldn't get any worse.
I'm sorry.
I gotta do something. I can't let Susie be shacked up in that apartment.
I feel so ridiculous. When you see and feel certain things, you suddenly realize how futile the things you strive for are.
This year he promises sailing, tennis, and disco until dawn. But if only. He's on his way to meet Dag Sørensen, the Hulk Hogan look-alike of two kids, Bobby and the wheelchair-bound Susie, who owns a bottom-tier SeaWorld. Dag's wife has left this world in the same accident that Susie lost her legs in. Now it's time to meet Sheriff Berger, who serves the Hulkster's brother with an eviction notice. Turns out he's 3 months behind on his rent to the evil land baron Samuel Lewis. He has 30 days to pay up. But where are the sharks, you ask? A bunch of kids running along the beach trip over the remains of one of the scuba guys from before, not like an American movie that would just show their frightened faces. The film lingers over the gooey latex.
Billy's busy. We got invited to the club tonight.
No, it's okay, Vanessa. Go on with Glenda. I'll catch up to you later on.
Once and for all, Billy, it is the fish or me. What do I have to do to get you to pay attention to me? Grow gills?
One autopsy later, and Brooding Hopper, Berger and Morrison, let's close the beach during the busiest week of the season. You don't do that. After several party scenes and moments of cavorting, Matei is bored of presenting human beings that act like no real people you've ever met, decides to start killing people as the girl runs smack dab into the Christy Watkins scene from Jaws. Again, I'm not saying a similar shot. It's the exact same footage. It turns out the antagonist of this movie is a tiger shark, genetically engineered by the Navy to be its own super weapon, killing people over Hampton Island. So this film is really Piranha, another movie that rips off Jaws. It's like Kate tells greatest shark attacks in the 90s with all your favorite great white super hits. Yet the greatest line is... Shout Factory were cowards. Was Bruno worried about stealing directly from Spielberg? After years of lawsuits against any film that came close to Jaws? Nope. He didn't just take from the original, he took from the two sequels. He was waiting, daring the American judicial system to come after him. Please keep in mind, this is no Sharknado or Subtrema effort. Matei was trying to make a really great shark movie, and that's why I love this movie. Particularly the big shark sequence about an hour into the film where everyone devolves into screaming morons. No second takes, no ADR, no one in wardrobe to tell one of the girls that her white leotard outfit is ridiculous, no focus group to say this movie is borderline incomprehensible. Yet every viewing by romance or cruel draws grows more passionate. How can you not love a movie that ends 90 minutes of body-munching gore, profanity-laden dialogue with a Scooby-Doo laugh-filled close where a seal launches the newly redeemed bad guy right into the ocean?
Attention, please. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the citizenry of Hampton Bay, I'd like to present this check to Dag Sørensen.
All right. That reminds me, we should probably talk about Deep Blood.
I'll leave you this arrow box as a seal to our pact. The only way we can trap Wakan is through these carvings. that tells us of its paths, its currents, and where he's headed. Someday, this object may be useful to you.
What I don't understand is, why is it here, now?
This town has a history of trouble with the sea. Far back as the Indians, stories of monsters eating whole villages.
Don't believe everything you see.
John is dead. What?
And if you thought Joe D'Amato didn't have a Jaws ripoff in him, you don't know Joe D'Amato, or Federico Salisco, or Mike Truba, or David Hills, or Kevin Mancuso, or John Russell, or Ralph Donato, the name he used on this puppy. Joe D'Amato has as many names as he made movies. Born Aristide, Massachusetts, became known first as a cinematographer in films like What Have You Done to Solange before directing Death Smiles on a Murder, 5 Emmanuel films, including the Berserk, Emmanuel and the Last Cannibals, Entrophagus, Absurd, Ed Game, hundreds more, including way many adult films, as well as through Film Rush, producing movies by George Eastman, Michael Suave, Umberto Lenzi, Lucio Fulci, and Claudio Fragasso. The movie begins as we meet 4 boys, Mickey, John, Jason, Alan, the deep blood kids, eating hot dogs on a beach. This movie has my favorite opening of any Film Rush movie, where it's just a big phallic hot dog and it says Film Rush Presents. I want that tattooed on my face. With a Native American mystic who tells them the tale of the monstrous walking shark, the boys sign a blood oath they'll always be friends and help one another in times of danger. Much like it, the boys get together 10 years later. However, Walken shows up, kills John, and starts randomly devouring everyone. There's a long extended sequence where a police chopper hovers over the guy's boat, repeatedly saying, "Go back to shore, you should be embarrassed of what you've done." It still makes me laugh. If the scene of the shark blowing up at the end, sorry, spoiler warning, looks familiar, it's because D'Amato just recycled the effect from the end of The Last Shark. Yes, the Italian film industry, not above ripping itself off. Also, the effects team only built a shark head. My head is like a shark fin. The rest of the undersea footage comes from National Geographic. The Mystic angle adds a different take on a shark movie. There are moments of sheer absurdity, like the sheriff being named Cody and not Brody, harpoons being shot into cars at punkers, and a fishing scene where it's obviously no one in this scene knows how to fish. Joe D'Amato may not have delivered the Italian shark movie of my dreams, where George Eastman emerges from the inside of the shark eating its innards, but damn it if he didn't try. Oh man. Let's see one more. One more for the kids. And that would be, if you were reading Marvel Comics in 1977, there's no way you didn't know about Orca.
The ancient Romans called him Orca or Canis, Latin for bringer of death. He is without challenge the most powerful animal on the globe, the killer whale. Orca has 48 teeth, set in 2 impressive rows. In some respects, the orca's intelligence may be even superior to man's. They remain loyal to one mate for life. As parents, they are exemplary, better than many human beings. And like human beings, they have a profound instinct for vengeance. An innocent creature is destroyed by an act of human cruelty, and the ultimate battle of man against nature begins. Dino De Laurentiis presents Orca.
Can you commit a sin against an animal?
He followed you. He saw you on the deck of the boat.
They always remember the human being who had tried to harm them.
He deliberately left you your boat because he wants to fight you on the sea.
I won't do that. Now the fish have vanished from the fishing grounds. And it's all because of your whale. In fact, I won't fight him at all.
You're not even man enough to accept the excitement of his challenge.
I'll fight you! You're a vengeful son of a...
Orca, starring Richard Harris, Charlotte Rampling, Will Sampson, Keenan Wynn. A spectacular adventure. From the depths of the sea to the top of the world.
It's going to be a fair fight on equal terms.
A fight to the death.
Nolan!
Between the 2 most dangerous animals on Earth.
What in hell are you?
Man and Orca.
Despite everything that nature and SeaWorld could teach us, it was a time to meet a predator even more deadly to man than the great white shark. I had to quote Nico Case. You know they call them killer whales. Orca. Orca raises the jaws for buff steaks. If the name Orca can be Quint's boat, here can be a whole movie. Dino De Laurentiis called writer Luciano Viscione, who wrote The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, in the middle of the night and told him to find a fish tougher, more terrible than a great white to make a movie about so he could go up against Spielberg. Well, the writer's brother told him all about killer whales, and the rest is movie history. At least to me, directed by Michael Anderson, who also brought us Logan's Run and Doc Savage. Orca is the kind of movie that critics have assaulted for years. I'm here to tell you, every single one of those critics. It's a completely ridiculous film, a shameless reboot of both Jaws and Moby Dick, but by no means is it not entertaining. It has an incredible Marconi score, something so many fish films can only wish they had. Captain Nolan Richard Harris, who nearly died doing his own stunts, and also would grow enraged if anyone dared compare this movie to any other film, catches fish and marine animals so he could pay off his boat. His crew is looking for a great white, which comes after crew member Ken, Robert Carradine, and Lewis. Orca saves Ken, and Nolan decides to repay its kindness by capturing it. After he harpoons the whale, he learns that he's killed its mate, which miscarries and drops a fetus under the deck of the ship that the callous captain hoses off into the ocean while our titular hero, villain, sea mammal screams in anguish. And then you wonder, with this scene, which is horrifying, this was rated PG. A 1970s PG is today's NC-17. Novak, Keenan, Wynn, another crew member, cuts the female loose and its maid drags her dead body to shore. The villagers all rise up against the crew, who demand that Nolan kill the orca, which has gone wild and is ruining local fishing. But Nolan refuses to put the fish out of its misery, retaliates by sinking every boat in town and breaking all of the town's fuel lines, because of course killer whales hold grudges. That's what brings Dr. Rachel Bedford, Charlotte Rampling. Whew.
There's only one creature in the world that could do that. A killer whale.
A whale expert into the movie, she believes that orcas are like humans, a fact that no one can understand. He sees himself as a whale, as his wife and unborn child were killed by a drunk driver.
I understand what that whale is feeling. Because the same thing happened to me.
He promises not to fight the whale, but it kills Novak, attacks Nolan's house, and then bites off the leg of Bo Derek in her film debut, Annie. Horrible. When I saw this scene as a kid, I was like, I can't believe this. Nolan and his crew, including Peter Hooton, who was in Derek's first actual film movie, Fantasies, but that didn't come out until much later, as well as the 70s Doctor Strange TV movie, Just a Damn Soldier, Mark Gregory, and of course, I had to say it, Night Killer.
What in the hell do you think you're doing?
Committing suicide.
Well, you gotta drink seawater because it throw up all that shit you've been taking.
Are you crazy?
Some fried chicken. I'll take off after the orca, along with Native American Jacob Umelik, Will Sampson, magical Native American in movies like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and Poltergeist 2. That's when the orca goes buck fodder and wipes out nearly everyone by either grabbing them, biting them, crushing them, or literally throwing icebergs at the boat. The orca throws Nolan all over the place like a rag doll, killing him. But leaving Bedford alive, we watch as Nolan sleeks into the water in the Jesus Christ pose, and the killer whale decides to swim under the ice.
Boiler alert! Boiler alert! Boiler alert! Boiler alert! Boiler alert! Boiler alert!
There's conjecture here. Is the killer whale trapped, or is it decided with his revenge complete, all he can do is die when faced with all the pain that he has brought because of his path of revenge? I could see the poetry of that. Then I realized I just watched a film filled with no subtlety whatsoever. So perhaps the orca swam on, discovered a new mate, and remains ready to wipe out humanity at a moment's notice. Man, orca's everything I love about movies. Big, dumb, bloody. It's the kind of movie that a fine actor like Richard Harris can chew the scenery with just as much gusto as a killer whale devours one of Bo Derek's shapely gams. It also takes shark films to the next level. Every single one of the humans in this movie are amongst the dumbest people ever, doomed by the fact that they even know Captain Nolan. The minute he hoses that orca's son into the icy waters, he sealed his fate. This is one of the few films where you root for the beast. Actually, I root for the beast in every movie. Am I saying? You'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll be amazed at Bo Derek's bloody stump. I want more people to love this movie, even 25% of what I do. I'm just looking at the orca ad. Just says orca, the killer whale. The killer whale is one of the most intelligent creatures in the universe. Incredibly, he's the only animal other than man who kills for revenge. He has one mate, and if she is harmed by man, he will hunt down that person with a relentless, terrible vengeance across seas, across time.
I have crossed oceans of time to find you.
Across all obstacles, and there's this beautiful painting of this giant killer whale just diving through the air. This movie. You know what, though? We got to look up, do killer whales kill for, we're using the search engine to find this one. Do killer whales kill for revenge? I'm asking Google right now. While the idea of revenge-seeking orcas makes for a great movie plot, marine biologists agree that wild killer whales do not hold vendettas in the way humans do. The most recent revenge talks stems from a pod of orcas in the Iberian Peninsula that have been ramming sailboats and breaking rudders. They believe that there's a white Gladys and may have had a traumatic encounter with the boat and began attacking rudders. This really feels like play or a social fad. Orcas are highly social and prone to picking up collective behaviors that serve no survival purpose because they stop attacking as soon as a boat starts moving and never target humans. It lacks the hallmarks of a true revenge mission. They have a lack of aggression towards humans. They like to conserve their energy, and they really are big on resource management. They're less territorial, more cooperative. The exception is in captivity. While wild orcas have zero recorded fatal attacks on humans, the story changes there. Orcas and tanks have killed chainers, most notably Tilikum at SeaWorld. However, scientists don't label this as revenge. It is attributed to zoochosis, or psychotic-like behavior that comes from confinement, lack of social structure, and sensory deprivation, as well as displaced aggression. Frustration from their environment is redirected towards the only target available, the people training them. So, yeah, this orca story is bullshit. Here to tell you. Thought this be a short episode. No, it's like an hour about orca.
You've been listening to B&S About Movies. Visit the site at bnsaboutmovies.com. You can also donate to the show at ko-fi.com/BNS About Movies. Remember, summer is here, so if you go to the beach, you're probably going to die.